Can't make a clone.
You know I'm a DJ, right? So know this.
Choose your right. Got a whole lot of rights. Choose your right. Got a whole lot of rights. Choose your right. Got a whole lot of rights. Choose your right. Got a whole lot of rights. Choose your right.
You know the vibes.
Happy Tuesday, everyone, and welcome to Vibe Rides. You found us, 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. We're always here. So today, it's Tuesday, which means that we're doing driver training today. And for those of you who are new on the call, every Tuesday and Thursday, we do training specifically for our drivers. As I said at the beginning, we're on at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time every day. On Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays each week, we have what's called an opportunity call, where we talk about Vibe from an opportunity standpoint. And what's fun about those calls is we have different speakers on every day, on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Tuesdays and Thursdays, that's Angela and myself as we go through training specifically for the drivers. So thanks so much for everybody to tune in. Don't know if this is your first time, if you've been here before, but if you are a new driver, welcome and thanks for tuning in with us today. We have a lot of stuff to cover today. Lots going on. We want to give you our software update. Angela's going to do the software update. We're also going to go through some other protocols related to COVID-19. There's a lot changing right now in the rideshare industry pertaining to that. Some guidelines that have come out from the CDC. And Angela's going to go over that today. And then once Angela's done, I'm going to come on and we're going to talk about pay again. The question of how is the pay calculated and what goes into the pay. And we'll cover that again and wrap up. So lots of information today, a lot of information. So if you're all ready to go, Angela, let's get started. Okay. And as we always do at the start of each show that we do is make sure that our Spanish-speaking individuals have the Zoom line. So this is a line that we have, if you're new again on the call, that if you're Spanish-speaking, you can tune in to Zoom at 822-379-948, and you can listen to this presentation being translated in Spanish. On to the disclaimer. And this is something also that we do on every call that we do for Vibe Rides, is that sometimes we talk about projections and we talk about numbers. We don't make any guarantees as to the numbers that you're going to see. Anything that we see here is all going to depend on your ability and your skill level. All we do is basically tell you how things are calculated. We can move on, Angela. Okay, software feature updates. So this time, I'm going to turn things over to Angela, and welcome on, Angela, and thank you for filling in for me yesterday on the opportunity call. So I thank you for that. Angela's got a lot of good information as is coming forth with us as it pertains to the software feature update, and also an update on just best practices and some requirements that we're going to have as we move forward as rideshare is starting to pick up again, and a lot of states are, I don't know what word I'm looking for. Getting people back out there, I guess is the best way I'll put it. So, Angela, I'll turn it over to you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Scott. As you can see, I wanted to choose my vibe today, just like you chose your vibe on your background. But what happened was when you have a green screen, and everyone out there, you can get all our backgrounds on iGoHub.com, Boom Hub. What is it, Scott? iGoBoom.com. No, iBoomHub.com. You can get stuff for your phone and you can get stuff for your background when you're doing Zoom calls. Well, one thing you need to remember is if you do have a green screen, don't wear green. I wore green today, and so I couldn't use my background, and I wasn't exactly vibing like Scott is vibing this morning. But in any case, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. from everyone in the world, because I know I was looking at the chats this morning on Facebook, and we're getting people on from Jamaica, Bermuda, London, I mean, everywhere. So welcome everyone. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through our software update that we usually do on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and any other updates that we want to share with you. And just like Scott said, there's some other more important details that we need to discuss in regards to COVID-19. So version-wise, the reason why we always show you the latest software versions, and this is for individuals who have not been on the call before, or just need a reminder in regards to that. The best way to utilize your app and your tool, which is your most important, is your phone. That's what you use to do your drives. Of course, as a rider, you need your phone as well. The versions are very important, because what we're doing now is we're doing over the air updates at the moment. And I'll explain that in a minute. And it's important for you to have the latest version for your phone to work properly. So in regards to your driver app version, it has to be an 80. In regards to your rider app version, it's a 77. So when you go into your app, you have a little menu bar. Those are 3 lines in your menu bar when you go into your app. When you click on that, for the driver, it's on the bottom left. You will see your version of the app. For your rider, it's the bar is on the top right, and I believe it's on the bottom left as well. You'll see a number. It needs to be 77 for your phone to work properly. So make sure that you get that done. And just in case you're not sure and it's being glitchy on you for some reason, close your app, reopen it, or delete your app and re-download the app, and it'll refresh for you. Now, in regards to having the versions out on the Apple Store as well as the Google Play for the Android, of course, that's getting pushed out, which means anyone new downloading the app will automatically be at 80, will automatically be at 77. Then, of course, once we've pushed it out to the Google Play and the Apple Store, we're going to continuously be adding updates, and new stuff is starting to come out. We are finally through our phase 1, and we're fixing anything that may remain from the phase 1 of the app at the moment, and we're going to keep moving on and updating things for you as we committed to. So be patient, new stuff's coming out, but just make sure you have the correct app versions. In regards to the update features, we are working on things that we've been having challenges with, and people out in the field and the drivers have been challenges with. We are definitely working on that, and we will get it done. Whatever it is that's happening out there, it's a repeat thing, which is it may be your phone, it may be isolated. That's one of the things I'm going to tell you right now. Anyone up there with an older phone, okay, may be having challenges because they don't have an up-to-date phone. We actually are helping individuals who've had challenges, who have an iPhone later, actually iPhone 6 and up is what you need. We've had people bring in or talk to us about their phones that are older, and we've helped them out. Those are isolated challenges. But remember, if your phone is an older phone, you're going to have challenges because of the type of phone you have, the age of your phone, the bandwidth, the memory of your phone. Those are all things that have a lot to do with being able to use that tool. That's why we advise you, you need to have newer phones. The older phones do have some challenges, okay? The other update I had come in real quick today was the address box is disappearing. I've seen that myself. I've seen some videos come in regards to that. So what happens is when you're putting in the address on the rider side, when they're putting in the address, it tends to disappear. So you start putting in your address, and all of a sudden it goes back to your location. Then you try to put your address in and goes back to the location. It's still been happening on some phones. It is isolated. It's not system-wide, but it is happening, and we are still working on that. That will get a fix today, tomorrow, in the next 24 to 48 hours. So thank you for your patience, but that is being taken care of. Your iPayout is definitely going out. There's people that are not finding their iPayout link. That's what you need to have to be able to get paid. Please check your spam. We've had people that we've sent the iPayout to that couldn't find it. It's in your spam. Check your spam. If not, send an email to support. We will get you that link so you can set up your iPayout, so we can transfer your money to your iPayout account so you can get paid. So remember, you need to do that in order to get paid, okay? Going in to change your info. Yes, we've had individuals that have been on board with us right from the beginning, and we appreciate that very much. They've been through our journey. They've been helping us tremendously in regards to all kinds of things regarding the app and information out from the field. If you have challenges getting your information in, now remember, if you were already approved, you will have to send an email to driver support at viberides.com. You will need to send that email to let them know you have an expired insurance. You want to change your profile pic. If you've already been approved by us, you will have to send in that information. We will update that for you. If not, if you're still going through the process, you can now go in and change information. What happens is, for security reasons, once you're approved, your account gets a lock on it, meaning for security reasons, for you as well as for us, we want to make sure we protect your identity and all your personal information. That's why you need to send it to support if you've already been approved. Otherwise, you should be able to get in there and change any information you need to update anything. Remember, make sure you stay updated in regards to your licensing and registrations and your insurance and so forth. All right, so we're going to move on here because we've got a lot going on in regards to health and safety protocol rollout. So one of the updates we are going to be rolling out in the next couple weeks. This is very, very important. It may sound monotonous. You've heard it all before. You've been watching the news. Doesn't matter. This is very, very important. Why? Safety is number one to us. Your safety, the rider's safety, and the safety of the community. This is for everyone. This is for all of us because we're in this together. In order to get through this pandemic, whatever you want to call it, this situation that we're having with COVID-19, we as a company want to protect you. So we're going to talk to you about health and safety and the protocol rollout we're going to have in the next couple of weeks. Very important. We're going to go through all of the protocols, but this is what's going to happen. In the app itself, you will not be able to get online until you read through the protocols and do what we call a self-certification. We're going to go through that today. You have to sign off on the self-certification, and we'll go through that in detail. So does the rider. So remember, this is for your safety as well as the safety of the rider and all of us together. So the rider will be signing off every single time they request a ride. They have to sign off on the protocol. For you as a driver, it's only when you go online. So anytime you go offline and go back online, you will go through the protocol. But if you stay online and you're working for the day, it's not going to come up. Okay, so just want to let you know that. All right, health and safety protocol rollout includes personal health confirmation and sign off for drivers and riders inside the app. Yes, you have to let us know and you have to answer the questions in order to move on and be able to use your app at the moment. So required face masks for drivers and riders, health safety education for drivers and riders. This is all in together. This is what we're doing this for, and we're going to explain that right now. Okay, They will wear a face mask or covering. And these are basically, I'm giving you kind of the scenario of what you were looking at when you sign on to the app. You will have to sign off on these. You will wear a face mask or face covering. They will not ride or drive with Vibe rides if they have COVID-19, have related symptoms, or may think that they have it or were exposed. You have to sign off on that because you need to let us know you understand the protocols. They will keep vehicles clean and sanitized at all times. They will clean and sanitize their hands frequently. They will leave windows open when possible and avoid recirculation of air when possible. And passengers will not ride in the front seat. So these are very important for us to share with you because we need to keep one another safe and the community as well. So face masks, very important, right? Same with the rider. If you at any moment feel uncomfortable when a rider comes in, is not wearing a face mask, wants to sit in the front seat, is coughing or hacking or anything like that and not being sanitary, you don't have to accept the ride. Your safety is very critical to us and we want you safe. We want you safe for many reasons because if you get sick, you can't drive. But if you get sick, you might be exposing to other people. So this is also about community, very important, okay? Vehicles clean and sanitized at all times. We've done a video specifically. You can find it on Vibe Rides Facebook page. Go back there and watch the video. It will give you details on how to sanitize your vehicle before and after every single ride. You can, watch that, share that video with as many people as you can because this is not for just you as a driver. This is for you as a rider because you have people in your vehicle. We want to keep everything, safe for everyone. So we don't want to be giving no exposure to anyone. So this is for riders as well. This is for you personally on an everyday basis, okay? So remember that. And no, everyone in the back seat, this is the 6-foot rule within a vehicle. That's the furthest you're going to be from one another. Having someone in the front seat is not following social distancing. Anyone who does not agree to the personal health self-certification will not be able to drive or request a ride for Vibe Rides. Safety, number one. We want to keep you safe and we want to keep the rider safe. And of course, I will repeat, the community safe. We're in this together. You will not be able to get online if you don't follow protocols and sign off. And the rider, same thing. They will not be able to take a ride unless they sign off and understand and accept the protocols. The CDC protocols, which is the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. You can go there. We'll have a link within the app where you can just click and go exactly to the exact point in regards to COVID-19. And of course, you want to read through their information. They've got a ton of amazing information in regards to health and safety. So that's the cdc.gov. You can go there yourself, Google it, go see what they have in regards to safety protocols with COVID-19, but we will have a direct link for you so you can read more of the information. And of course, we actually do have it currently in our FAQs, or frequently asked questions. It's on there at viberides.com, but we will have a direct link to the CDC for you as well. So remember, we'll link you up for easy access. But again, you can always go to the cdc.gov for more information and go to the FAQs. And what do we have here? Because I can't see the bottom. What are the symptoms of COVID-19? So this is really important for you to educate yourself. Of course, you need to be informed. And when you're informed, you know exactly what to do and you're mindful and aware. And this is for yourself, this is for the rider, and this is for anyone else you come into contact with, okay? Patients with COVID-19 have had mild to severe respiratory illness with symptoms which include, but let me remind you that you may not have symptoms. There's been many accounts and it's in the news, and I mean the CDC is where you need to get your info anyway, but they are also saying people are asymptomatic. I'm sure you've heard that before. We don't want to get into the doctor clinical stuff here, but if you may have it if you don't have symptoms. This is why we want you to wear a mask, because people may be asymptomatic. They may not have any symptoms whatsoever. You yourself may be asymptomatic, no symptoms whatsoever. So in order to protect one another, wearing a mask is the best thing you can do for anyone and yourself. Okay, we're going to get into symptoms just to give you an idea. Fever, 100.4 degrees or higher. A cough, shortness of breath, chills, repeated shaking with chills, muscle pain, headache, sore throat, new loss of taste or smell, diarrhea. Some people can have severe complications. It could be worse for some people, and that's why some people don't have symptoms at all. CDC believes at this time that symptoms may appear in as few as 2 days or as long as 14 days after exposure to the virus. So stay away from individuals who've been on a plane. It's not that we don't love them or we don't want to be around them. It's just for your safety and protocols. You have to keep social distancing. So be aware of these symptoms. Okay, so here's some other additional information. Avoid being exposed, okay, which means don't get into crowds. Don't hang out with a bunch of people you don't know where they've been, because some people hanging around and going, now that the restaurants are open in certain states, some venues are open where more than 1-2 people are gathering, that's exposure. So if they've been exposed, they're going to be exposed to you, you'll be exposed to them, and that's when things start to happen, right? And exposure, listen, they are saying the droplets of your breath and all that, when you're not 6 feet apart, it's going to create havoc. So be aware of that. Wash your hands. Of course, we sometimes, your things are opening up, everything's exciting. You start to think, hey, we're kind of going back to normal. There will never be a normal. There'll be a new normal. And the new normal is always moving on from this day on forward. You still need to wash your hands as often as you possibly can for 20 seconds, they say. Sing happy birthday, something like that. Sing your favorite song, but wash your hands for at least 20 seconds. Avoid close contact, okay? So social distancing is very important, because they say the droplets when someone's speaking will drop to the ground if you're 6 feet away. So make sure you're staying 6 feet away. Cover your mouth and nose, which means facial coverings. You need to cover your nose. Now remember, we know we're having a bit of a lack of equipment for medical workers and so forth. So don't go out and try to find yourself the best medical stuff, because then you're taking away from those individuals who actually need it. The CDC says a face covering is sufficient, but then again, we're not doctors. Okay, so go to the CDC to make sure you're following protocols on what you need to do in regards to your face covering. Okay, cover coughs and sneezes. Yes, if you're going to sneeze into your hands, make sure you wash your hands immediately. If you're going to cough, make sure you wash your hands immediately. If you're going to be coughing and sneezing and you don't have a face covering on, try to cough into your elbow. And of course, go wash your elbow after that. But this is a way of making sure that you are being mindful to expose anyone else, and clean and disinfect all the time. I have wipes in my car. I wipe my wipe container in my car. I wipe everything down, my keys, my seat belt, everything that I touch, everything anyone else may be touching. So again, please go watch that video. It's on Facebook at Vibe Rides. It'll give you all the details in regards to disinfecting. And of course, your phone, your tool, that is what you need in order to operate with Vibe Rides and give rides, of course. So make sure, take the cover off if you have a cover on your phone or your laptop, clean it, disinfect it, the phone and the cover itself as well. And anything you touch, ladies, your purses, Gentlemen, your wallets and anything you literally touch on a regular basis. Make sure you do that. All right. So I think I have everything, but I do want to add one more thing, Scott, in regards to questions and answers. So what we're going to do, Scott, and I know you and I, we love answering questions, and we know we have people constantly asking us questions. So I believe on Thursday, get your questions in. I see you on Facebook. Get your questions in. On Zoom, get your questions in. We will answer your questions, we promise, on Thursday. And if we can't get them all on Thursday, we will continuously be doing that. Send them in, whatever they may be. We will answer your questions on Thursday's call. So remember, get them in today. We will answer them on Thursday.
Great. Thanks, Angela. And great information for everybody out there. There is, we're giving you the best information we have. One thing that we've always tried to do is be as transparent as we possibly can be too. So as we talk about the software, what needs to be changed, everything, we're trying to be as transparent as we can. So appreciate that. Like Angela said, we'll do questions and answers again. We did that last Thursday. We actually did it live. So you can type your questions in now, or we'll actually try to take them live on Thursday. So, okay, Angela, I've got one more question for you. This is I feel like I'm in junior high, but I'm going to ask this question. You've got on a green Vibe Ride shirt and a green background. Does that mean if you throw up, what should I say, one of our virtual backgrounds, it'll just be your head floating there, and that's all we'll be able to see of you?
Yeah, that's what I told them right at the beginning. That they can go to iboomhub.com and download all their backgrounds. And I said, I wanted to choose my vibe just like you this morning, but I did make one little error. I wore green. You can't wear green with a green background.
It would have been entertaining just to see, just a head floating out there as part of it too. But
I
all right, maybe next time. Okay, so I know nobody's really interested in learning about how your pay is calculated. Just kidding. But we're going to go through it every way. Anyway, so when we look at it, we're going to talk about all the components that actually go into a ride. Okay? And I'm going to discuss each of those, and some of these we're going to get into more detail on the next page. So first of all, when we look at what goes into an overall calculation, I apologize, I'm losing my voice here a little bit. We have an overall, we call a technology platform fee. And you're probably saying, okay, Scott, what is a technology platform fee? In order for us to keep competitive as a company, we have to continually invest in our IT. Technology changes. We want to bring you more features, more service. So it's not like this is, from an IT standpoint, one time we develop an app and we're done. This is continual work that goes on week after week, month after month, year after year. And so we're actually take this platform fee, this technology platform fee, and we use it to continue to enhance the technology. So that's one part of the fee that the riders pay to help us continue to improve the app. Now, the other thing that's actually there is there's sales tax, there's airport fees, and venue fees. So on each ride that occurs, depending on the state, depending on the city, and depending on the county, there's sales tax that have to be paid. So sometimes, again, it depends on the location. Sometimes there's sales tax at 3 different areas that have to be paid. On top of that, the airports charge a fee when you actually get your vehicle going onto airport property. So when we go on there, it's called geofencing. So the airports have kind of put I'll call it a technology-based fencing based on longitude and latitude around the airport. And when you're a Vibe driver, once you go onto the airport property, we actually have to pay an airport fee. So that is something else that the riders pay. And then what we see coming out, which is going to be fairly new, we've only seen it in a few venues so far, but we anticipate this is something else we're going to see coming up in the future, is you get to some of these large sporting events, mostly football, both professional and college level, is some of these large venues where there's 60, 70, 80,000 people attending. We've also seen some of the venues also doing the geofencing at the same time. So I just want to explain this to you. So if you ever hear about a rider explaining about, oh boy, that was a high fare, it depends on the sales tax. There could be airport fees. There could be venue fees. These fees that we collect from the riders get passed right on to the organization that they belong to. It's nothing that we keep at Vibe Rides. So if it's a sales tax, we have to remit it to that sales tax organization. If it's the airport, if I'm in Houston, if I'm in Dallas and there's a fee, we have to remit that on to the airport. And the same thing with any venues, we'd have to remit that on to the venues. So that just gets passed through. Vibe Rides doesn't make any money off of that, and you guys don't make any money off of that either from a driver's side. Tolls. Tolls, you will be reimbursed for tolls. Absolutely. So any tolls that you have, you're going to be reimbursed for the tolls. That'll be in part of the earnings when the ride is complete. So you'll get reimbursed for your tolls right away. And then the last thing is mileage and time. Okay, and I'm going to go on to that on the next slide, but mileage and time is the big item. And then don't forget, you get to keep 100% of your tips. So when I look at this from a driver standpoint, getting 100% of those tips, that's a key. It's all dependent on your ability to give that rider the best drive possible. All right, Angela, let's go to the next slide, please. So let's talk about a little more detail about these four categories of drivers' earnings. So I touched on this briefly. So mileage. So you get paid on mileage, which is the trip distance times the mileage rate, okay, equals the distance earning. From a time standpoint, you never know. You'd be zipping down the road at within the normal speed limits of 70 miles an hour, or you're going to be stuck in stop-and-go traffic. So we have the trip time times the time rate equals your duration earnings, okay? So now remember this, the drivers receive 75% of the mileage and trip fee once they've completed 50 rides for the month. So each month we start at 0, and the first 0 to 50, you basically, or I should say 1 to 50, you receive 70% of the mileage and time. Once you go over 50, get that 51st ride, then you're actually going to receive 75% of the mileage and trip fee. Again, tolls. You will be reimbursed 100% of the tolls incurred during the ride, and tips. I keep going back to this, and you know, the unique opportunity we have at Vibe Rides is the expectation of the rider before they get in the vehicle. Okay? So if you've been on, or if you're a new driver listening into this, by the ability for the riders to select their vibe, you're going to know what they want. Do they want to talk a lot? What do they want the temperature of the car? What music would they like? And a lot of this is just going to enhance their experience. And if you enhance the experience, there's a higher probability of getting a higher tip. So don't forget, part of this is you keep 100% of the tips. This is you. This is up to you as a driver to make that experience the best you possibly can. Okay, can we go to the next slide, please, Angela? Okay, so talking about timing of getting paid, and I'm going to explain this, and then I'm going to go through in an example of it for you also. So after each trip you take, you're going to see a receipt of your earnings. That will be available right on your phone as part of the driver app. So we have what's called a pay cycle. Okay, so the pay cycle starts at 4 a.m. Central Standard Time on Friday, and it runs all the way around to 3:59, 59, 59 on Friday the next week. So we have basically a 7-day, 24-hour period, and then that pay that is accumulated from the earnings gets paid out the following Tuesday in your iPayout account. So to give you an example, if we look at this last cycle, we started on Friday, May 1st, okay, gone around to Friday, May 8th. So the earnings for that pay cycle will be paid out of the iPayout account on Tuesday, May 12th. And that's the way we're going to run it for now. We've had some people ask, do you think we can get to the possibility of doing it faster? I can say it's something that we could very possibly do in the future. We're just in the infancy right now of getting going. We're going to get it going on a weekly basis first. Once we feel comfortable, we can repeat this on a weekly basis. Then we could possibly look at shortening it. But for right now, it's going to be on a weekly basis. So the payday is going to be every Tuesday. And that's where you're going to see those earnings in your wallet. Okay? Now, again, just to note down here, is this just includes the fares you earn as a driver. okay? As fair as you earn as your driver. If there's people on this call that are part of the Overdrive program, okay, the Overdrive program is paid out by our marketing branding partner, iBoomerang, and that'll be paid on a different cycle, and that'll be paid monthly. But for drivers, every Tuesday is going to be your payday. Okay, let's move on, please, Angela. Okay, our promotions. Let's talk about the May promotions that we have. Vibe 5. This is the most important one for you drivers out there. So I've seen a couple chats come in. People ask, do I have to pay for my background check? The answer is yes, you have to pay for your background check. And yes, you have to pay for your vehicle inspection. This promotion that we put up here for the Vibe 5 is to basically offset the cost of doing those two items. So all you have to do in the month of May, get signed up to drive, get your vehicle drive, get on the road, and you only need to do 5 rides. That's it. 5 rides. You do 5 rides, maintain a rating of 4.2, which is not difficult to do, and I know we've got extremely talented people out there for this, and we'll reward you with $50. And the reason we come up with those numbers are the background check is $33 and the vehicle inspection $17. Add those two together, you get $50. We're going to give you that $50 back. This is a promotion we're running all the way through May. Still, lots of time to get this done. For you new drivers out there, work through the process. Okay, work through the process. We know there's points when you got to stop. You got to wait for the background check. You have to wait for our customer amazement team to tell you that it's okay. You got to get your vehicle information in. You got to get that approved. But there's still adequate time this month to get in and make this promo happen. For most of you, if you're driving someplace else, 5 rides, a couple hours. Very easy to do. This is the incentive we have. So get signed up as a driver. If you're in the process, get through the process. Get through the process right away, and you'll have that opportunity. Next slide, please, Angela. So here's also on the 19-point vehicle inspections. You got to use our form, but these entities here, these service providers, will perform your 19-point vehicle inspection for you for only $17. Okay, $17 throughout Texas and Florida. Find Tire Kingdom, NTV, or merchants. Let them know you're part of Vibe Rides. Bring in the form you can find online, and they're going to do that 19-point inspection for you for only $17. And this is easy to do. This is quick. Again, like I said, we're sitting here on May 11th, May 12th, May 12th. We're sitting here on May 12th. There's so much time to get in and register as a driver, so make it happen. And what do we have coming up next, Angela?
I have one thing to add in regards to the $16.99 plus tax. These companies, take a look at the logos. Tire Kingdom Service Centers, NTV Tire and Service Center, and Merchants Tire and Auto Center are nationwide. You will get this deal of $16.99 plus tax at all these locations, and they're everywhere in Florida and in Texas. So if you end up going to your buddy's place and he charges you $110 for your vehicle inspection, that's on you. We are giving you this opportunity to be as economical as possible. They're giving you a phenomenal deal. The promo is for $50. So even if you pay $200 for your 19-point inspection because you chose to do so, we still reimburse you for the $50. Why? Because we've given you the opportunity and the tools to get this done for $16.99 plus tax. And they are nationwide. I mean, hundreds of locations. So we know they're in Florida for sure. We know they're in Texas, and they're everywhere else. But because we operate in those 2 states, they are definitely there waiting for you to go on in and get your inspection done. So be aware of that. Okay? Don't overpay. We're helping you out here.
Great. Thanks, Angela. Let's click on to the next slide. Okay, so I've seen some chats coming in, and people are saying they've got some questions, or maybe they're kind of stuck in the process. Please remember, you can go to viberidesupport.com, send in an email to our customer amazement team. This is information that we track. Mr. Fred Brim, who runs our customer amazement team, his group of people, he's got dedicated people for Vibe Rides. Okay, for Vibe Rides. We can see how fast that they actually respond to those questions. And if you just put an email, you're going to get a response back in a couple hours. Any question that you're going to have. So please use that capability, VibeRideSupport.com. If you want to know, like, where am I in the application process,